episode of Sugarfolk Homemade, my podcast where I talk about all the things I have been crafting. It's been a while, as usual. It's always longer than I expect in between filming, and I have no real excuse this time, besides the fact that when I have a moment to film, I would rather knit instead. But it's getting to the point where I have too many things to keep up with, and what I've shown and what I've not shown, and I do enjoy it, so I figured I better just get back into it while I can, and for some reason I just felt like doing it today, so here I am. For those of you returning, welcome back. Thanks for sticking around. And anyone new, my name is Michaela, and I live in a small town in North Carolina with my husband and our 3 kids, and now a little kitty. Posted that on Instagram, you may have seen, but we did get a little kitten. She's already grown like double her size since I posted her picture. If she comes out, I will I'll pick her up and show you guys. She's so cute. Her name is Magnolia, but we call her Maggie, Maggie May, Mags, Maggie Noli, all kinds of names. But she has been fun, and she's a little bit wild because she's a kitten. So we're in that phase right now where she can be a little much. Especially when I'm trying to knit, you know, cats and yarn. She is all over the yarn. But yeah, anyways, welcome, and hopefully you've got yourself something to drink. I'm having some iced coffee because it is now, it's almost 2 o'clock, and between like 2 and 4 is when I just crash for the day and I need a pick-me-up. And I'm drinking my coffee in this beautiful handcrafted mug that I got at a festival in our town a few weeks ago. I was really torn between getting this one and another one that had, I can't remember it exactly, but I want to say it was green, and then the handle was a little toadstool, mushroom, whatever, with the red and like the white dots. It was super cute. Now I'm realizing I don't have anywhere to put this. Let's stick it back here. Okay, so for the sake of time and the fact that I have a terrible battery life on my phone, we are gonna jump right in. And as usual, I am not prepared. I don't know the names of half of the things that I'm going to talk about, but I will try my best to put them down here, definitely in the description, and if you have any questions, you can always ask me. And you can do that either in the comments, or I'll link my Instagram down below, and that's where you can find me. Okay, so we'll start with this. Oh no, we will start with this. This is my Aosta Sweater. Don't remember who it's by. I'll put that here. And I was almost finished with it the last time that I filmed. Maybe I was finished with it. It's been so long I don't even remember where I was at on last episode. But it is definitely finished now, and yeah, I'm loving it. So I will stand up, show you guys what it looks like. I'm just wearing it over a dress today. I would like it if it was a little bit more cropped. Sometimes I will roll it up like that. Got the balloon sleeves. They're a little bit short on me. And that's really my own doing. I figured that over time it's gonna kind of stretch a little bit because it's pretty heavy, it's pretty dense. So I figured over time it's probably gonna elongate a little bit. And for now, it works fine because I can pull them down to where they need to be, but they stay out of like the water and stuff when I'm doing dishes, and I'm always using my hands, so I don't like to have super long sleeves anyways. So yeah, and today is really the first day here that I could even think about wearing a sweater. Of course, now it's almost like 73, so I'll be taking it off soon. But the mornings right now are sitting around like 50 degrees, and it is so lovely. I cannot wait for fall. I really don't care for summer, to be honest. I'm very thankful to live in a place where we get all 4 seasons, and there are pros and cons to every season, but summer is just the one that I like the least. Power bill goes way up. It's too hot to really enjoy yourself outside. You can only take off so many clothes. And I feel like my personal style, I can't really get that in the summer because I like to layer things, and I don't know, I just like clothes. And in the summer here, it gets in the 90s. And you just, you can't wear a whole lot or you'll just sweat to death. So I took advantage of the cold weather this morning and put this on, and I love it. I did talk about how I originally did not do this almost like a mock neck. I just left it because it's a folded over neckline, and I started with just this much, but when I put it on, it was super square the way it laid on me, and I don't know, I didn't really love it. It looked cute with my longer hair, but once I cut my hair off, I find that with a pixie cut, things that are high neck or even like turtlenecks are more flattering. So I went back and I did knit the same length again, and then I couldn't fold it out like you were supposed to because I didn't want you to see the seam, so I had to fold it in, and I'm not gonna lie, it is pretty tight getting it over my head. If my head was any bigger, it would not fit. So this is truly a made-for-me sweater, which is fine because I don't plan on giving it away anytime soon. And oh yeah, I forgot to mention, the yarn that I used for this was, I thought I knew. I think it was bamboo, a little bit acrylic. I'll put that, or I've talked about it in a past episode. It's not wool or anything fancy. It was very cheap. But it feels really nice. And I know a lot of people, acrylic, I've said before, it gets a bad rap because it can like make you sweaty and stuff like that because it's not real. But I think this was bamboo. But anyways, it feels really nice on. It does not feel like suffocating and hot. I really like it. Okay, next project is being kept in my tiny little patchwork bag by Sue. I'll link her down below. She made me this beautiful little project bag, and I love it. I love anything patchwork like this. And these are my stripy socks that I've been working on for a long time. I just finished the first one. I love this yarn. This is West Yorkshire Spinners in Robin. So as you can see, it's self-striping, but it also has these stripes that are almost like broken up. And I paired that with there's a 2x2 cuff. I do 64 stitches on 2.5mm needle because I knit a little bit tight when it comes to small circumferences. But I did a 2x2 ribbing, and then I went into a 3x1 broken rib. So a round of 3x1 and then just a regular knit round, and then repeat. And then when I get down on the foot, it's only on the top of the foot, and the bottom of the foot is just plain. But I really like the texture that it gives without it being like a solid ribbed sock, and they fit really nicely. And the heel, I mentioned this before, what yarn this is, I can't remember, and I don't have the tag for it. But it is, I would say, thicker than a fingering weight. It's labeled fingering, but it's pretty thick, which is fine because it makes a really nice, soft, squishy heel. And it fit perfectly with the colors. So I finished the first sock, and I am currently still on the leg of sock number 2. I have been working on these more lately than I was. Sometimes I forget about my small projects, such as socks, but there's a pair of mittens that have ballerinas on them. I'll share a picture right here, that I'm dying to knit for my daughter Rosie because she is obsessed with ballerinas. So I'm trying to get these off my needles because I need these needles to do that. And I know that if I just pause this, I won't come back. So I need to just finish them, have them done, and I need another pair of socks for the coming season anyways. So excited to get those done. Let me have a sip. I never really remember how dry my mouth gets from talking to the camera. Just talking consistently for a while. And as usual, I can hear my kids not sleeping. I'll do a few more and then I'm gonna go encourage them to be quiet. Or to take a nap, because poor little Sammy, he's my 2.5-year-old. He is a grump when he does not get his nap. So we gotta make sure that happens. Okay, next project I'm keeping in my Woolly Tangle project bag. I think this was the first project bag I ever got. I got it on Etsy. I will link that below. And this is, I'm almost positive, the longest project I've ever made. And it is the husband sweater. In my mind, it is the husband sweater. It's a sweater for my husband called So Basic. And although it is basic, it is taking me a very long time because I had the bright idea of making him a fingering weight sweater, and he's a big guy. So, what in the world? Okay, I almost unraveled something on accident. Okay, so I finally finished the body, and although I don't enjoy working on it that much, it feels lovely, and I'm excited that he will have this, and which means I will have this because I will certainly wear it as well with some leggings. There was a little bit of, I don't know if you can really see it now, but for some reason there was like some discrepancies all through here. I don't really see it much now, but regardless, I think it'll come out with blocking. And I have just started on the first sleeve. This is where I think it'll get a little bit more interesting for me because there is a bit of a textured pattern on the sleeve, whereas this was just stockinette for like 300 stitches at a time, just like they got boring. But now I have a little bit of something to spice it up. I'm still thinking it's going to be Christmas before I'm finished with this because I'm done with unrealistic expectations. And I will strive to have it done by then. And if not, it's not the end of the world. But I'm pretty sure that I will. If it's like December 1st and I still have a lot to go, I will work monogamously on just this because it's been a long time coming. And my poor husband, I'm assuming he's looking forward to it, to having it. So every time I tell him, okay, it's going to be another this many months, he's like, well, why aren't you working on it? I'm like, well, I am. I'm just not working on it as much as the things that I like to work on. But slow and steady, we will get there eventually. And I'm going to go see if I can get these boys to go to sleep. I will be right back. I am back. Okay, so next work in progress, I will show this one. Okay, this is my pressed flowers shawl, and this is for the Across the Pond shawl cowl with Ruth from Ruth Loves to Knit and Fernanda from Little Monkeys and Me, and I will link both of their podcasts below. I have until the end of this month, which is September, to finish this, and I'm pretty sure I will get to it because I only have about, I think, 15 or so rows left. Of course, I'm at the end of a shawl and the rows are just getting bigger and bigger and bigger, so we'll see. But I've got this in yet another patchwork project bag. I do not remember, oh yes I do, Ragtag Quilt Art on Etsy is where I got this. And I really like this bag because it's got a nice little handle on it. Okay, so let's see if I can show this without dropping any stitches. I'm not going to be able to spread it out as far as it would like to go, but this is what we've got going so far. I'm so nervous about dropping stitches. Turning out to be pretty big. You're supposed to do 5 repeats of the flower pattern. But once I got to 5, I laid it out and I like stretched it out on the cord, and it just didn't seem big enough. I'm almost positive I knit a much tighter gauge than the designer. So I went ahead and did 6 repeats, and I saw that someone else on the project page did the same, and so I figured, well, then the numbers should still add up to just go right into the border chart after. So I did do a 6th repeat, and now I'm working on the border. And also it called for a provisional cast on. I think the one where you go back and you like take something out, and I don't know, it doesn't make sense to me. But I didn't even notice that until I was like halfway through the shawl, and I don't know why you would need to go back because it looks pretty straight and solid to me. I just did a long tail cast on, so I'm just gonna leave that. Provisional cast on, if that's the right word, is also what was supposed to be my husband's sweater for the collar, and I think I did it, but then whenever it told me to go back and like cut something, I cut the wrong thing, and it was just very confusing. So maybe I'll try that on another project one day. Maybe. But yeah, this is my pressed flower shawl. I adore it. It's not necessarily, fall colors or anything, but as soon as I'm done, I'm wearing this because I feel like it is me in a project. My goal was for it to look like a garden with the green grass and then the different colored flowers, and I think that has worked out pretty nicely. And the yarn is just lovely. They're both wool. I forgot the names of them, but I will put them. Well, they're in my previous episode is when I had first cast this on, and I talked about the yarn in that episode. So go check that out if you're curious. The green was, why can't I think of the name? It's a very popular yarn, and I felt very excited to even be able to purchase it because it was a little out of my budget, but I can't remember now what it was called. But yeah, that is my pressed flower shawl. Should have it finished in time for the cowl. Last year I did the cowl and I did not finish mine in time. But I still have a nice shawl from it. Next project is, I believe, a new cast on. I don't think I had this going last time. And this is the All Day Sweater by Lily Kate France. Is it All Day Sweater? I might be wrong. Like I said, not prepared. Yes, the All Day Sweater. So, I'll post a picture of it here. It is a beautiful, very feminine, cute style sweater with the pleats and the just overall fit. I don't know. I thought it was adorable. So, this is actually with the yarn that I got from Hobby Lobby, and it is acrylic, but it is, oh my gosh, as soft as cashmere. I am so serious. It is a dream. It slips and slides off my needles and it kind of drives me crazy, but the sweater feels amazing. And this is where I'm at so far. Let me get this right. There we go. I would say I'm a little over halfway through the body. This is knitting up pretty quick because this is a Aran weight might be wrong. But it's thicker, and the needles are a size 9, 8.5 millimeter, no, 8.5 millimeter, geez, 5.5 millimeter, so a bigger needle. And by the way, most of my projects, if I don't mention, I use the recommended needle, because most of the time I don't swatch. And I don't think I swatched for this. Maybe I did a little one, but I just finished knitting her Be Thankful cardigan not too long ago, and my gauge was spot on with hers, so I just kind of assumed that me and her have a similar gauge, so I did not do a swatch, a big swatch for this. But yeah, I really, really like this. I love the color. It's kind of hard to pick up on here, but it's gray, but it has a very cool undertone. It's got like that bluish undertone, and it almost looks a little bit heathered from far away. I don't know if you can tell. Beautiful moss stitch detail up here. I am going to have, hopefully, the exact amount of yarn that I need for this. I have 4 balls, and I don't remember how many yards they were each, but I am about halfway through the second ball. So that leaves me, I'm going to assume I'm going to use this for the rest of the body. That leaves me 2 balls for the sleeves, maybe a ball per sleeve. I'm hoping that it works out. The sleeves are pretty loose and big, so I don't know. If it comes down to it, I may have to shorten it a little bit, which would be fine. Or if I can find the yarn again, that would be great. But yeah, somehow it will work. So that is my all-day sweater. I'm really excited about this one to wear over dresses, even though it's not a cropped style, because it has those feminine details like the pleated sleeves, and it just looks very dainty to me. I feel like it would be really cute over a dress. Sometimes I don't like longer sweaters over a dress because they can kind of just blend together and it creates like a frumpy style, if that makes sense. At least for me, anyways. Okay, next project is actually, it's currently blocking, but I think that I can make this work. So this, I used to have, I may have showed it, I had a little table runner thing on my table that I had knit, and it was a granny square that was made for a blanket, but I didn't want to make that many once I started it, so I had made 6, maybe 8, and just sewed them together in a rectangle, and it was my little table runner. And of course I have 3 little kids. They would spill stuff on it all the time, and so it went through the wash machine many times, and it finally fell apart. Even though it was acrylic yarn, I was kind of disappointed that it broke so easy, but my magic ring circles, they just kind of broke, and then the stitches were, it wasn't cute. And it wasn't a huge deal because, I mean, it's not, I didn't spend forever working on it, and I put it on my table, so I knew it was going to get dirty. But anyways, I wanted a new one, so I found this pattern on Ravelry. It's technically a placemat, but for my sake, it will be a little table center thing. So this is it on the blocking board. I've had it on the table already for a couple weeks pre-blocking, and the edges kept curling up and it was driving me crazy. So it's finally blocking, and I have sprayed spray starch on it to hopefully stiffen it up a bit, at least enough to where I can set it on the table without it wanting to curl in on itself so much. But yeah, and I just used like basic Walmart acrylic yarn for this because it's just what I had in my stash. Yeah, just thought I would share that. It's not like a huge project or anything, but I thought it was cute. Okay, I need another sip of something. Coffee. My throat gets so dry. Feels like I haven't spoken all day, and then all of a sudden, just speaking makes my mouth super dry. But I have spoken all day. I have 3 kids. They're talking to me constantly. Okay, next I have a lot of acquisitions, and so if you don't want to see acquisitions, which I totally understand, that's totally fine. You can go ahead and sign off, and I will see you next time. But I'm trying to figure out where to start. Okay, first I will start with the ones that I personally purchased. Okay, so not too long ago, my local yarn store had a sale. I want to say it was 50% off of like a whole table. So my sister-in-law and I went, and again, I'm really sorry if I'm like looking back and forth. I never know which way, where to look. Maybe one day I'll get there. But anyways, we went, and you know, I can't usually, or I can't always afford like nicer yarn, so when I hear about a nice sale, I'm there. So I found this on sale. This is super fine alpaca DK. This just has my local yarn store's name on it. It's not like a brand, I guess. I don't know. It does say hand dyed, so I don't know if someone at the store is hand dyeing these. And it's called Mallard. Now, as you can see, it is a beautiful green color. Oh my goodness. Kind of want to make like a shirt or something out of this. Very pretty. It's very similar to like the richness of this blue in my sweater. I don't know, just such a pretty color. I love those like deep, rich colors. But yeah, it is beautiful. And it says it was over dyed gray. I don't know if that means it was gray and then they dyed it again to green, or if it was supposed to be gray and it was left in the dye too long and it turned green. I don't know. I don't dye yarn, so I don't know. I don't know if that could even happen. When I first read it, I thought over dyed gray, like they dyed it gray, left it too long, turned green. But then I got to thinking, and I was like, how would that happen? Because how would you go from gray to green? So I don't know. Maybe they did. Maybe it just was gray before. I don't know. But it's very soft, and it is 220 yards. They only had this one skein, so that's why I only got one. But I believe this is enough to make the Parendale mitts, I believe they're called. I'll put the picture here. Which I think would be beautiful in this color. And I'm going to make them for my mother for Christmas. Mom, if you were watching this, act surprised because I totally forgot to just tell you to look away. But yeah, beautiful, beautiful color. I feel like my lighting today is actually doing things justice. I'm sitting in front of our kitchen door with the sun coming in, because lighting just in the house does not give accurate depictions, but it is just beautiful. Like it almost glows. Okay, enough about that yarn. There's too many for me to get that crazy about every single one. Okay, so next is another of the same super fine alpaca DK. Same 220 yards. This one's called Rusty Nail, and I got 2 of this one. A very, very pretty, almost like a muted coral. But Rusty Nail works too. It's rust, but it's not like, I wouldn't say it's orange. It looks more pink to me. Just talking about the lighting, it kind of looks like this one might look a little different than it does in person. But yeah, this is a beautiful, beautiful color. No idea what I can make with this because that only gives me 440 yards. And it would make a very cute tank if there's enough yardage, or maybe a t-shirt, but it's alpaca, so it's not like a summery blend, you know. Perhaps I can find a shawl that I could use this in, maybe pair it with something else. I haven't thought very far on this one, just because I'm at such a weird position with yardage. I have enough to do a hat or gloves or things of that nature, but not quite enough to do a bigger shawl, which is what I prefer. I don't love the little shawls, and definitely not enough for a sweater. So yeah, if you have any patterns that you think would just be beautiful with this, keeping in mind that it is alpaca, let me know, because I'm open to suggestions. But it was such a beautiful color, I couldn't pass it up. And I know it'll get used for something. So the next ones that I bought myself, ooh, I'm excited about these. These are brand new. So my sister-in-law and I and our husbands, we went out of town last weekend, and she had heard of this yarn store, which I know now is the largest local yarn store in the area of our mountains, which is, I mean, it's a pretty big region, but this place was awesome. It's called Friends and Fiberworks. I was trying to look and see. I will put their website down below. But they had everything you could imagine, and I'm not sure who, I should have asked, but someone is knitting tons of clothing that they have displayed all through the store, like a lot. There's a lot of stuff in there. And it was kind of cool to like go through, and I'm like, oh, I recognize that pattern. I recognize that pattern. And I felt so like included in the knitting community just because I already knew what these things were. But anyways, I went to the wall of hand dyes and found these two, and I thought they were such a beautiful match. I just realized just now that one of them might be a tonal. But anyways, these two beauties right here, let me do one at a time so you can really see. So you can see there's a little variation of color in here. This is Malabrigo in the color Fiona, and this is a fingering weight. It's their sock base. Superwash merino wool, so it wasn't, you know, super pricey. But this one, and then this is the same Malabrigo. This one's called Myths. And so you can see it's speckled. I love the specks of purple in here, but there are also, it almost has, so the base color, the lighter color, it has a green undertone to it, and there are also specks of green, but I thought that it looked beautiful with this. Ooh, the lighting adjusted to that really nicely. So I got them with the intention of making a shawl with these, because I've seen a lot of shawls that have like a solid and then a variegated of some sort. So what pattern I think I'm gonna use is this one, but I still need to look around because I want to find the perfect one. But I think this is going to be absolutely beautiful. I'm almost positive I'm going to do a shawl, but I'm also open to like a t-shirt style if I can find something that I like that incorporates these two at the same time rather than like stripes, because I don't know, I don't want to do stripes, but I think something similar to the way almost with like slip stitches and stuff, like integrating the colors together, I think would be nice. But I still don't know if that's enough yardage, because I think you end up using more yardage when you're slipping. I have no idea. I don't know. I need to get on Ravelry for a while and figure out what I'm going to do with these. But it'll be a little while before I cast these on anyways. But they are just so stinking pretty. Oh my gosh. one more close up. So beautiful. I love them. I almost got, right next to this was basically the same thing but in a purple scheme, and I almost got the purples. And for some reason I'm always drawn to purples, but I don't like the way purple looks on me. So I was like, I had picked them up and I was like walking to the register and I thought, no, I gotta stop with the purple because it's just not my color. I can't do it. And I'm glad that I was able to talk myself out of that, because if you know, sometimes I buy yarn on a whim and then I don't like it, such as my shawlography shawl, which I will wear because I worked really hard on it, but it's a little wild for me. But I think these will be absolutely beautiful. And I know it looks like I'm really pale right now because I'm sitting right in front of the sun. But I have a little color right now and this doesn't look great against my skin. Just ignore what I look like in the light. But in the winter I do tend to go pretty pale. So I think that that will be really pretty. Okay, moving on to more acquisitions. The next acquisitions were actually gifted to me from a very generous subscriber and viewer. She messaged me on Ravelry. I'm not gonna, give away her info, but and said that she lives near my area and she had a bunch of stash yarn that she just needed to get rid of. And at first, I said, oh yeah, I would love to, if you send me pictures, I'll look through it, and what are you expecting as far as payment? And then she's like, no, I just want to give these to you. And I was like, oh my gosh, okay. I will gladly take them. So she sent me a huge box of yarn. And my sister-in-law is also a knitter, so she came over and we kind of went through and distributed who was going to take what. And I have a lot more in my cabinet back here that I'm not showing, just because there's too much for me to show it all today. But as I use it, you will see them. So one of the yarns is this Barocco Ultra Alpaca Light in this beautiful purple. And what's the color? I don't know if it says. Okay, there is no, oh, I'm blind. 4282 is the colorway. And there are 4 of them. I'll put this up so you can see the color. Beautiful purple color. There is 146 yards per skein. So I've been looking on Ravelry to figure out what I want to do with this. I realize I did not tell you. Peruvian wool. So I don't know what to do with this because, again, it's an awkward amount of yardage, but it's such a pretty color. And this is a purple that I do think I could wear, but lighter purples are not they're not good with me. But this is a really pretty purple. It smells very sheepy. And I don't know what I want to make with it. Maybe a shawl. I don't know if there's enough. What is that, 150, 600 yards almost? I don't know. I might could get away with the shawl. Maybe a scarf. Or maybe a hat and gloves. That's actually a good idea. Maybe I'll do that. Like a full set. Very pretty. And I'm so grateful for all of this yarn. I could not believe when it arrived. It was just this huge box of yarn given to me completely free. And it just blew my mind. So if you're watching this, thank you so much. I am looking forward to casting on so many things. My list is about this long. And I have so many things already in mind. I'm pretty sure I'm at a year before anything else can come into my brain because there's so much I want to do. Now the next one that she gave me that I'm going to be casting on hopefully soon is Highland Sport Cloud from Cloudborne Fibers. It is antique white. And And this is a sport weight, 200 yards per skein. She gave me 5, so I've got 1,000 yards of this. And this is 100% Highland wool. And what I really, really, really want to make with this is, I've already bought the pattern and printed it out, like I'm ready to go. As soon as I get one of these other projects off the needles, this is going on. And it is the Minuet sweater. I'm a sucker for a square neckline. They are so cute and just like romantic and old school, like old timey. I don't know, I love a square neck. Something about it, it's so feminine, and then you throw in the flowers that are on this pattern. It's just beautiful. So excited. And I don't know why I'm trying to put that back on. I need it off. So wait a minute. Oh, there's fronts and backs. Okay, so the yarn. Oh, this is, oh no, this is not what I thought. Okay, so this calls for a DK. This is a sport. And it calls for the size that I would make, about 865 meters. Okay, so I'm going to have to do the math here. Well, how many meters is this? Sorry, you guys are just coming along for all my... okay, there's not even meters on here. Oh, yes, there is. 183 meters. Oh, okay. I should have enough. And I think, I mean, I will definitely have to do a gauge swatch with this one since it's not even DK. But I'm determined to make it work, and if I need to hunt down more of this yarn to have just a little bit more to do what I need to do, I will do it because I love this pattern. So beautiful. And like I said, she gave me a lot more, but I couldn't bring them all over here. And a lot of them you will see in the future, I'm sure, as I use them. There's a bunch of a little fingering weight pink skeins, which is what I'm going to use for those ballerina mittens that I showed in the beginning of the episode. And I think that's all. I always want to give like a little life update, but I never remember where I stopped from the last episode because it's always so long. But I will say that it will most likely be quite a while before I'm able to film again. My husband and I just started taking classes to become licensed as foster parents, and it is a huge need in our area. There are so many children and not enough foster families. So we're getting involved with that, and it won't be too long before we will probably be placed with another child, or a child will be placed with us. And as you can imagine, that it's going to be a huge adjustment for the child as well as us. So we'll be pretty busy, I would say. Busier than we already are. I mean, if you have small kids, you know, it's hard to explain how they keep you so busy, but they do, because there's a lot of things they can't do on their own, and so you're just like constantly tending to other people. And all of mine are, I mean, the oldest is 5, so he's starting to be more independent and doing a lot of things on his own, which is super helpful, which is why I've been able to knit much more lately. But he also just started school, and we're homeschooling, so that takes out a little portion of the day. Of course, it's only kindergarten at this point, so it's not like a huge chunk out of the day. But yeah, they keep me on my toes, and I love it. I would not want to do anything else. But yeah, just don't expect me to be back here anytime soon, because I feel like we are in for a journey. I'm sure it will be a blessing. But yes, that's just our little life update. I don't feel like I have much more to update you guys on. We don't really live a very fancy, crazy life. Not a lot going on over here. But yeah, that's all. And I'm sorry if it seems rushed. I feel like I always rush through, and I don't mean to do that. I think I'm a little bit stressed that my battery's gonna die and I'm gonna lose it all, or that one of the kids is gonna wake up because I'm talking too loud or something. I don't know. But anyways, it was a pleasure talking to you guys, and thank you for always coming back to watch. And yeah, don't forget to go follow me on Instagram if you're not already. I like to say that I'm more active on there, but not really active anywhere on social media. But I do post there more often than here. So go follow me over there, and so I can follow you back. I like to put your faces with your names, because I know quite a few of you that I see your name and I know who you are, and it's awesome because it's like we're like real life friends even though I've never met you. So yeah, that's all I've got, and hopefully I'll have a lot to share next time I talk to you guys, and until then, happy crafting. Bye!